Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. I am now joined by Col Ajay Raina, and we're going to take a look at the United States-Pakistan relations, as well as why US is now thinking of putting a base in Balochistan. I'm hearing that it's already been in progress for a while now. And what exactly is going on in Gilgit Baltistan? This is a continuation of many articles that came in PGurus.com some years ago about how much presence of China is there in Gilgit Baltistan, because there are news about China now moving its troops also into the Pak-occupied J&K area. So let's wait and see how Col Raina gives us an update on what he sees in this. So let's first welcome Col Raina. Colonel Raina, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskaram, good evening, good morning. Thank you, Shiriji. You must take care of yourself. We can't afford to have you missing for many days.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. This is just on the wane, but it is giving a big kick on its way out.
Okay.
Colonel Raina, whenever we are having some serious news programs, right, people will refer to a country by its capital. For example, they'll say Washington says. What it really means is that the administration of that day has this stand on a particular topic, or New Delhi response, or something like that. What I notice is when I'm talking to several lawmakers in the United States, when they refer to Pakistan, they don't refer to Islamabad, the current capital, or Rawalpindi, where the army's headquarters are, but they talk about Abbottabad. Other than the fact that Osama bin Laden and perhaps a few other people were hosted there, what exactly is the significance of Abbottabad, sir? Take it away.
Shiriji, it could be, just a guess. Possibly they prefer a British name. Abbottabad was a city founded by Major Abbott, I think 1840, 1850 something. But yes, it has importance in the sense that firstly, there's a place called Kakul, which is on the outskirts of Abbottabad, where we have, or they have their military academy, the Pakistan Military Academy, PMA, they call it. But more than that, Abbottabad, if you look at the map, is towards eastern quarter of KPK. Once upon a time, it was part of Punjab. Then later on, they brought it under Northwest Frontier Province, Britishers. And thereafter, it is now part of eastern KPK. And if you look at the location, it's got so-called actual capital just about 50 miles to the south. Then it has Peshawar about 120 kilometers to the west. And more importantly, it has Kashmir only half an hour away, the actual Kashmir boundary, Muzaffarabad. So it is so located. And Britishers have a lot of memories. So I'm sure Americans also follow that. They have very good schools there. When Britishers were stationed here, they had a brigade there that time. And many good schools, Burnhal, Pakistan's own Abbottabad Public School, APS, not that Army Public School, Abbottabad Public School, and so many things are there. And you refer to Osama, there was one more guy, the famous Bali bomber, Umar Partek. He was also arrested from Abbottabad, again in 2011. 2011 for Abbottabad had two important landmark incidents. One was abduction of a religious guy called Osama bin Laden, and the other one was that Bali bomber. He was also hiding there. It's a huge military cantonment. In addition to military academy, there are other establishments. So I'll not say power of Pakistan Army military lies there, but yes, if they were to meet somebody, like if you go to Afghan jihad days, the CIA boss used to come only in the night, land in some airport inside Pakistan, have meeting with ISI guy on the tarmac and go back. So this is also a place which possibly gives them a place to meet and sit comfortably without getting detected. Otherwise, Abbottabad people are supposed to be good people, irrespective of the fact that that area falls in a country which is technically non-existent today called Pakistan. But this is how I look at Abbottabad. If you have anything else, from an American perspective, you can add, Shirji.
So looks like some of the key decision making, maybe in terms of what to strategize. Some of these things happen in Abbottabad. So that's all I can guess. But
no, that's what I'm saying. Since it is only 50 kilometers north of GHQ. And if some meeting or some brainstorming happens in GHQ, it is seen by many. This is a very safe place to be, very close. And then you can just sit there, and the power belongs to 𝗣𝗎s. So 𝗣𝗎s का ये academy तो है ही है वहाँ पे. As a huge cantonment. Yeah, I think that's the reason.
Thank you, sir. And see, India says, or India hints that once in a while, like I think Raksha Mantri had said that 𝗣𝗂𝗁𝗅 will be India soon. These are statements that are made sort of like strategically at some times. And immediately the media goes into a gaga, and then we start discussing the pros and cons and so on and so forth. But what has been happening is Gilgit Baltistan has been, simmering for a while now. And I remember writing an article in PGurus.com where I had actually given links to YouTube videos showing a complete enclave with a walled city, if you will, in the city of Gilgit. Inside Gilgit, there was a walled city, and inside that walled city, it was only Chinese signs. It was as if China had been created inside that. People were saying that there were 100,000 Chinese people who were living there. And the only thing that Gilgit locals could do there was to sell them vegetables and fish and meat and things like that, or be spotters or hitchhikers or drivers, all menial tasks. So this enclave was being used by China to service or house its own people, and also those people who are constructing the CPEC highway. Because up to Gilgit, the CPEC highway has come. You can go from there, climb slowly, wind your way up and up and up and up and into the other side, and you can go to China. There is a video that shows you that whole tortuous path also. Now, General Jacob wrote an article in 2012 saying that presence of 10,000 troops of China have been detected in Gilgit. Where do things stand today? Any idea, sir?
Shri, today you have such townships all along so-called CPEC, which despite people calling it defunct, is actually not defunct. There are many townships, but let's start from Gilgit. Yes, 2012, General Jacob wrote that famous article, which I don't know how many people read. But the bottom line is that India as a nation didn't react. Why we should have reacted? That Karakoram Highway was being constructed. It was much before CPEC came. So it was Karakoram Highway, which was being built through the territory which actually belongs to India. And when they started this construction, we didn't object. When they brought in 10,000 PLA men in uniform to protect from whom? That stretch of highway, which you rightfully said, it is a pretty tricky stretch, climbing up to the 𝗠𝙭 Pass. So when they came to in the GABA, or in the reason given was that they come to protect this highway. That time, there was no TTP. There was nothing really happening in that part of Pakistan. Pakistan was stabilized. But they still came, and we didn't react. We didn't raise any hue and cry. I think they just tested our patience or our response and found nothing. We didn't react when Shaksgam went to them years back in 63-64. That is understood. Okay, we had just had a very bad experience with China in 62, and things were moving. There was certain discussion. We can talk about it later when Nehruji once again wanted to settle Kashmir issue by giving some part of present-day Indian Kashmir to Pakistan to sort it out, on the advice of Lord Mountbatten, who kept on coming to India even after he left India as a Viceroy and Governor General. So when 2012 article came and we didn't react, I look at that development as possibly the reason which emboldened Chinese to invest more and then create what is called CPEC, which of course formally started in 2015. And like you said, such townships are now all over. Especially if you go to Balochistan, I am just thinking of a situation where we already have a lot of settlements, Chinese settlements across Pakistan, especially Balochistan. Now, if Americans also come and sit in Balochistan, whether they are looking at Iran or whatever, look at what kind of chaos is going to get created. But the fact remains, there are exclusive colonies. The main grudge which Baloch people earlier had was that their mines, their copper and gold and gas, everything was being used by Punjabis in Pakistan. They were getting no benefits. Nowadays, the agitation we started last year, the grudge is that our area has been barred. It's out of bounds for us, while Chinese are having everything, 24 hours electricity, fully protected townships, where Balochs can't enter. So, in a way, if you look from Chinese point of view, they've done what they wanted to do, but possibly they didn't anticipate the kind of reaction which is happening. And the reason is only this, that when you have exclusive township where Pakistanis can't enter, Balochs basically can't enter, and on the other hand, their girls are being taken and being sold off in China. Donkeys are, of course, exported officially, but girls they get married and then take them along. So one more nail in the coffin of Pakistan, I would say. Yes, so there are many townships, and in addition to townships, Shirji, they have a lot of presence in their universities. They have Chinese schools, language schools, offering courses, free courses to Pakistanis, so that I can study Chinese and go and work in China, which of course work permit. I'm not aware any Pakistani getting that kind of work permit like they get in West Asia. So you're right. This is what it is. There's so many of them now. Started from Gilgit 2012, General Jacob. We didn't respond, and now we have so many, as usual.
So speaking of General Jacob, I wanted your see, you are a historian, so you will know this at the back of your hand. I just wanted to ask you a simple thing. 1947, let's go back to 1947. Both countries become independent. Both have British generals as their army chiefs.
Yeah.
Now, there is a conflict on the border in Kashmir. It is believed that these two rascals, I can't find a kinder word to mention. These two rascals used to communicate with each other in French, thinking that Indian intelligence, which was still coming up, would not be able to pick up what they are talking about. Is this really true? Did it happen like this?
Shirji, not only Army General, Chief of Army, Navy, Air Force of India, and Chiefs of Army, Navy and Air Force of Pakistan. All 6 of them were Britishers. Commander-in-Chief was Field Marshal Auchinleck, again a Britisher, and Lord Mountbatten was superimposed on everybody else, again a Britisher. I don't think they had to actually converse in French, because there was nothing called Indian intelligence. All these posts appointments were being held by Britishers. General Masarvi, who was a Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan Army, and General Lockhart was this side. In my book, with evidence, I have written how it happened. 18th of August, General Masarvi signed a operational order. 18th of August, Shiriji. 15th August, a country called Pakistan is born, without knowing which side the Napi was. And 18th August, they already planned to invade Kashmir, called Operation Gulmarg, signed himself by General Masarvi, who was the Commander-in-Chief of that time. Chief of Army Staff used to be called Commander-in-Chief on both sides. So Masarvi. And not only that, when on night of 8th and 9th October, people think that 22nd October is the date when they invaded Kashmir. Yes, Kashmir Valley. Jammu and Kashmir state got invaded on night of 8th and 9th October 1947 in Poonch. That time, our so-called intelligence. So a signal was intercepted where they said, the signal read something like that some actions happened and all Gurkhas killed. The Gurkhas were part of J&K state forces. So they had attacked this post, which was not meant to defend, because British time it was very clear that no state will attack each other. Neither British will come into a princely state, nor other princely state will come into the neighboring princely state. So army that time used to be more of ceremonial, but J&K had good army because they were contributing during World War II. They had 60,000 volunteers going from Jammu and Kashmir. So the Gurkha troops, they were basically manning the border, and these guys came and massacred them. And thereafter, they didn't go back. Coming, doing raid, picking up females, picking up cattle was happening from September. But this was the first instance when they came, and then they kept on coming inside. They captured Kotli. There's a place called Fort Tharochi. So when the signal was intercepted by that time Lieutenant Colonel L.P. Sen, who was in intelligence branch in army headquarters, he put it up to firstly try to find out ki hai kya, where are the Gurkhas, and the place was called Ovanpattan. Now the Ovanpattan is a very fancy sounding name like Abbottabad. So they could never imagine that a place called Ovanpattan actually existed inside Jammu and Kashmir. So they kept on looking for such a place in old maps of Northwest Frontier Province, where they couldn't locate it. Finally, the next day, another signal was intercepted where they said Poonch soldiers have reached that place and 300 or 400 rations are being sent. When Poonch word came, so they could something is happening on the border of J&K. Now this report was put up to Indian Commander-in-Chief. He just saw it and sent it back. And director military operation was later General Thapar, about whom people have mixed views, you know, and his illustrious son who's still active. So this is, you are right. This was a plot.
But seeing his illustrious daughter,
Daughter.
Romila Thapar.
Oh, she's a historian. Come on. She's Shiriji. She's the foremost. She and 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙪, they are the historians of India. हम तो ऐसे हैं, we are useless people. So in my book, we have narrated story from that time Major Kalkat, later on General Kalkat, who had seen this operational order with his own eyes, and who was arrested, his wife and kids. They were detained inside Pakistan, and somehow he managed. It can make a movie kind of a stuff, how they came out of Pakistan and how they ran. And all those people who helped them, officers and 𝗤𝙑 Jawan, they were all executed by military courts later on. So yes, if you look at the overall game which was played, say 600 kilometers of frontier, and the so-called conflict, which was never called war, 1947-48, carried on for almost 15 months. If you see carefully, Shiriji, since I've written 5 books on that conflict, you can make out it was being played like chess. That when we are putting too much of pressure and throwing them back, so we are being stopped. When Pakistanis are coming too much into our area, then they are being stopped. So it was being played by chess by officers on both sides. Whether they spoke French or not, I have no evidence, but they were speaking to each other every day. That is a fact. And this is how. So 1947 Jammu and Kashmir conflict was British ploy. Pakistan had nothing to do with it. When people blame Pakistanis, I say, please don't blame labor. Please blame the contractor. Pakistanis are used as handy laborers who did it on behalf of Britishers by bringing in Pashtuns and Pathans from northwest. So your input is absolutely right. And origin of that conflict, which continues today and which keeps sucking blood out of our soldiers and citizens, and the actual onus lies on the head of British. And of course, that time British and Americans are very good friends after World War II. So both.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us down memory lane here. And viewers, again, see, there are so many things that are completely, completely covered up, because at that time, India was still realizing that they were independent. I don't think India is still free, my opinion. We are independent, all right. And this is what I think Modi is trying to make India also free. And that is why some people are getting some stomachache. And that's where we started essentially. And again, Colonel Raina will be having more such conversations in the future. Thank you so much for taking time out from your valuable schedule. And good luck with your book, sir. I'm hearing some good news coming. As soon as that becomes firm, we will release it on our channel. Thanks once again. Namaskar.
Thank you, Shiriji. So kind of you. And please get well soon.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar.